Welcome to Ball Talk Deep, where we talk deep about ball. It's Andrade and Irwin back at it again. Drop a like, drop a sub, drop a comment before we get into it. We post 5+ videos a week, and we're doing a lot of playoff coverage, and this time around we're switching it up. And I saw this article on NBA.com stating 10 players looking to reach the finals for the first time. These 10 players, from accomplished veterans to young superstars, have yet to play on the NBA's championship stage, written by Sean Powell. And this time, I thought it'd be fun if we went through this article and we'll present what the writer wrote for each player, and then we'll give our thoughts on that specific player. And to cut the video up, we're going to do 5 players for one video and then another 5 players for another video, so you guys have some time to rest, you know what I mean? Because I don't know if you guys want to go through us talking about 10 players. That'll be like, what, half-hour video?
Man, it'll be forever. What? But let's start it off, man. First player on the list, we got Giannis Antetokounmpo, whatever. Fuck it, I don't know how to pronounce it. Milwaukee Bucks.
All right, so Antetokounmpo, with a pair of MVPs and every other important award and honor in his pocket, already at age 26, there's really only one piece left for Giannis to snatch. The basketball world hasn't reached the point of holding the lack of a championship against Giannis, but knowing that fickle crowd, that label is coming soon, especially if he doesn't at least reach the finals. The good news is he's still in his prime, still improving his skills, and there's no shortage of fire and desire in his belly. The social news is the Bucks are essentially locked into Giannis, Middleton, and Holiday for the near future based on their rich and lengthy contracts. Are those co-stars capable of great performances in big moments? The bad news is, should the Bucks fail to reach at least the conference finals this year, it could spell the end of Mike Budenholzer as coach. In order for Giannis to take up residence among the greats, he'll need a title, but again, there's still time. But then again, do not rely on that still time narrative, because we've seen it a lot with vets and stars that have retired that kill it at a young age, and before you know it, they're well into their 30s, or retirement is right around the corner, or they end up retiring without that coveted ring, and that shit sucks.
It does suck, but the good thing, technically, there still is time. But, like I said, that's going to creep up on you. And quite honestly, I think that core, the fact that they're in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, core is killing it right now.
Core is... they're kicking the Heat's ass right now, but that's for now.
Yeah, looking good for Giannis's possible first trip to the finals this year.
Yeah, first major step, and I think they have enough talent to maybe push the Nets, and who knows, maybe beat them. Who knows?
Do you think so?
An injury or two will help out.
I think maybe put facts, but I think max they push it to 7 games. I don't know if they can beat.
We'll see what happens. They gotta get past the Heat first. That series is far from over. Hopefully I'm not jinxing it for South Beach, but unlike somebody over here, I'm not being a pessimist about this, but we'll see what happens. But
I got a good feeling. I got a good feeling about Giannis, actually, bro. My gut feeling is telling me that he will retire at the very least with 1 title.
Yeah.
And it helps that he's in the East.
And the fact that he does that with Milwaukee, man, that would count like 2 titles.
Crazy. Well, I don't know if he'll do it with Milwaukee.
He's loyal.
But what helps him is his age, because not only does he have time, but everybody else that can hinder him from winning a title right now, like a LeBron, or even reaching the finals. We're just talking about reaching the finals. So like a KD, a Kyrie, a Harden. Kyrie's still in his 20s, but Harden and Durant already in their 30s. Everybody that, those wave of stars, they're aging out. Giannis is aging in, and everybody else is still younger, like even a Luka, a Ja, a Mitchell, a Tatum. So, I mean, Tatum's only like 2 years younger, so it's not 2 or 3 years. But right now, I do see a window where it will be the best window for him to lock in at least a trip to the finals and a title. So, I don't know. All that being said, also, Mike Budenholzer, if they lose him as a coach, to me, with that nucleus in the Bucks, it wouldn't worry me too much. I think it'll be interesting to see how that affects Giannis, because I think Giannis, like you said, is a homer, and he's all about family and loyalty, so maybe it fucks him up mentally a little. Not like, seriously, but
just like
buzzes him a little.
Well, just like he got over Jason Kidd, I think he'll be able to get over
Coach
Budenholzer.
And I think with a different coach, with this nucleus, with the right coach, watch out.
We'll see what happens, and let's move on to the next player on the list. Now, this man literally has no more time left
for
from
real.
what it looks like. We're talking about Chris Paul, Phoenix Suns.
This is his 13th postseason, and he has reached the conference finals only once in 2018 with the Rockets, when he had the misfortune of suffering a hamstring injury with a 3-2 lead against the Warriors. Besides other injury-spoiled chances during his stint with the LA Clippers that arrived at the wrong time and served as bad luck, the image of Paul not being primetime enough for the playoffs is faulty, because he entered the 21 playoffs with postseason averages of 20.9 points per game, 5.2 rebounds per game, and 8.3 assists per game. Those are slightly higher averages than his career regular season stats, and he's really only had a pair of underperforming postseason series. Still, because of his greatness, the lack of a championship appearance is a stain on the resume of a future Hall of Famer, and Paul must live with that until retirement or until he finally plays in June. He has a challenge with this Phoenix team, which is rather young, and will have a tough first-round test against the Los Angeles Lakers. Should Paul come up short again, the ball's in his court. He can opt out for the final year of his contract this summer and sign with a contender, although it's tough imagining him walking away from $44 million.
Look, man, just like there's death, taxes, and bills, the fourth thing that for sure is Chris Paul is definitely not opting out of that $44 million. I'm sorry, man. You gotta be brain dead.
That was a good way to talk about it.
To be able to do that, but
especially at his age, man. Because honestly, I would be open to walking away from $44 million if my next contract gives me 20 to 25% less. Now, if it's more than 25%, even 30% less, I'm gonna have to seriously think about it. And honestly, at his age, the amount of mileage that he has, obviously the CP3 effect is a thing. He's not going to get even half of that per year. At his age.
He's not, but fortunately for him, he's part of a very good team in the Phoenix Suns. A lot of people are underestimating them, and I believe they
most
have
underrated second seed.
Yeah, I mean, like I said this before, man, they might be the first number 2 seed to pull off an upset in the first round. But
not looking good for them right now, though.
Well, it is the Lakers, man. You can't be. You gotta give.
It is LeBron.
No, it's the defending champs. You can't.
That's a part. No, that's true.
You can't disrespect to them, but if. And I believe they have a chance. If they get past the Lakers in round 1, there's going to be the best chance for Chris Paul to be able to make it to the finals. Because after the Lakers, I'm sorry, no disrespect, there's nobody in the West that stacks up to them.
No, that's true. That's true. And, I mean, look at the other team. If Denver didn't have that Murray injury, then I would say Denver is the second leading one. Because Jazz lack playoff experience in terms of, as a whole and reaching deep in.
They'll make it to the Western Conference Finals.
Exactly. And then Clippers implode if they make it past. If Luka beats the Clippers, which, seems pretty strong chance right now, Luka and the Dallas also lack playoff experience as a whole. And who else could we point out? Yeah.
Boy Ja, what? That's not happening.
But you see, there's not a lot stopping Chris Paul this time around. So, yeah. But the thing is, he'll at least get his first finals trip. And then he'll get eaten up alive by the Nets.
No, they won't.
What?
They won't.
The Suns versus the Nets? You tripping. But I do hope he can retire with a title. Because he deserves it,
Don't be disrespectful to anybody that comes out of the West, man. The West is
true.
The elite conference. If you get out of the West, you are not getting your ass swept by anybody in the East. I'm sorry. No.
I mean, but I just really hope he can end up winning it. Because seeing CP3 retire without a championship would really hurt. Especially seeing how, at least for me personally, but I think a lot of younger fans, the hype behind him when he was younger.
Okay, look, to finish up when it comes to this about Chris Paul, I really hope it doesn't happen, but it seems like history is repeating itself with the injuries, because it seems like he's not 100% back from his shoulder injury.
I mean, I think that's going to be the biggest narrative that falls behind him if he retires without a ring. It's like, why wasn't he able to win a ring if he's considered one of the best point guards of all time? And everyone's going to be like, injury. But
it's a shame because this year he was relatively healthy throughout the regular season.
And it didn't help that he spent so much time on the Hornets, and then he's had a string of bad luck. Yeah, he was on the Hornets
at the worst time.
Yes, I mean, literally, hurricane came right then and there.
For real.
And then the trade that didn't happen with the Kobe shit, which that was messed up. Yeah. And then when you go to a franchise that's known for having bad luck, and we're kind of seeing it playing now, playing it
that curse is real.
Under a new owner. Yes, bro. I don't know about curses, but if there's any curse I don't believe in, it may be the Clippers curse.
I'm like, the Clippers are giving the Knicks a run for their money as being like the number one dumpster fire franchise ever in the NBA. But all right, let's move on to another not dumpster fire, but another player that had injury concerns. Joel Embiid, Philadelphia 76ers.
There is no more dominant low post player in the NBA than Embiid. He's blessed with lower body strength, soccer-trained footwork, and a better attitude about how to best use his size. With that status comes expectations. Embiid will now be judged on what he does in the postseason. In the recent past, critics questioned his commitment to fitness, which plays an important role in the stamina needed for deep playoff runs. Embiid listened and made changes. With a championship-proven coach in Doc Rivers and a complimentary co-star in Ben Simmons, Embiid should have ample chances to play for a title with the Sixers, beginning with these playoffs. Those chances, though, will largely depend on him and how far he's willing to go to be dominant. One, it looks like he's willing to go pretty far to be dominant. We're seeing it play out in the regular season just finished, and right now in the postseason.
Yep.
Two, I just want to point out, championship-proven coach in Doc Rivers. He has one championship in a 15 to 20-year coaching NBA career. I'm just saying that.
Yep.
And then third, there is status that comes with, like, the status and the expectations that come with someone of Embiid's status. Like, I don't know if we touched upon this with Giannis. Giannis is not getting the pressure that he deserves for not having a championship with all the accolades he has given. So Embiid should not have that same level of pressure because he's just 100% healthy. Like this season, I mean, this postseason was the first time him and Simmons came in 100% healthy. And two, he does not have two MVPs. So lay off the guy for a bit. And three, he is overall, his injuries are finally kind of becoming a thing of the past for him. And he can, kind of like Steph Curry.
Yeah, but two things that go against your point. Number one, Joel Embiid had a lot more hype coming in his draft status, being drafted number 3.
Good point.
Compared
Good point.
to Giannis, being a...
That does help Giannis' argument about not having that much of a pressure.
The number 2 thing as well is Philadelphia is a much bigger media market in general, compared to Milwaukee. All right?
That's true.
Comes to that. So the noise is going to be louder there. They're not in New
But
York.
Giannis brought that
They're
media attention to Milwaukee, just like LeBron did it for the Cavs.
That helps out. But, however, the good news is, just like Giannis, Joel Embiid still has time. And he has arguably he has a better co-star in Ben Simmons than Giannis has with
You know what I just thought about that with the pressure, too, that probably added onto it, is that the 76ers recovered for the longest time about their tanking and trust the process bullshit, and Embiid and Simmons are a result of that process.
Yeah.
I almost forget now that was a thing.
It doesn't work out that well that time, and if we were talking as recent as last year, it seemed like that process was over. But, man, have they recovered?
They have recovered because of this, man.
Exactly.
And so far from everyone we've listed, and maybe going down the entire list, in my opinion, this is arguably the best player on the list.
Yeah.
Even over Giannis. I'm sorry, guys, but seeing how he's playing, let him keep getting his feet wet and fully get his body set. And we keep seeing healthy seasons from Embiid. And even this year, he still missed some time from a little injury. But overall, when I mean healthy, like no serious injuries, bro, this guy, he's more dominant low post than Giannis. And he's more dominant overall. Like, if they're going against each other, I'm sorry, but my money is on Embiid.
Of course. And let's move on to the next player on the list. Carmelo, the real Melo Anthony, Portland Trailblazers.
This season, he celebrated cracking the top 10 among career scorers, which is rarefied air and an automatic ticket to the Hall of Fame. Not that there was any doubt. However, Anthony is the only member of that top 10 without a finals trip. The only player in that top 10 without a ring is Karl Malone. The news doesn't get better for Melo. He's 36 and has arrived at that veterans minimum salary stage where former stars go to ride out the sunset. It's a bitter pill for someone who, as a young scorer with the Denver Nuggets seasons ago, reached the 2009 conference finals and had so much promise. The flip side is Melo, like most aging stars, struggled with the concept of being a role player once the shot stopped falling with regularity. He still has another year or two of NBA life left, and where he chooses to spend the next season will have a big say in his finals and championship fate. And I want to say that's the best way to end Carmelo's paragraph, because if he wants to make at least one finals appearance in his trip, bro, you're on a veteran's minimum salary. The beautiful part about that, unlike Chris Paul with 44 mils under his belt, you can sign almost anywhere. Anyone is open, and especially seeing how he has proven himself over these past 2 seasons. Even I would be open to welcoming Carmelo to my team. Like, hey man, you come off the bench, you swallow your pride, keep arms wide open, and on a championship contender, Carmelo could still bring a couple points, like when need be. You know what I mean? And he kind of like an Iggy, like in the sense of obviously he doesn't play D or even close to the IQ that Iggy does or the endurance, but an older player that provides just enough to, maybe be able to help push your team. Because, yeah, he'll definitely have his moments.
That would be a key thing regarding Carmelo, because let's face it, man, his time is already up. At least Chris Paul, he still has, 2 or 3 years of playing as an all-star. Carmelo, we're just talking about 1 or 2 years, just period, being as a role player when it comes to that.
Honestly, if he ends up not winning a championship or even making it to the finals, to me, I think that's a great metaphor of just what his career really was. Because he was never a winner in my eyes, mentally, especially during his peak. He didn't have that winner's championship mentality. Not sacrificial, always about him.
What it kind of reminds me of Melo, and I don't want this to happen, is let's say he gets to the finals or wins the finals. I think it's kind of going to remind me of Tracy McGrady when he played for the Spurs. But
they didn't win the finals that year, though.
Exactly, but it didn't feel that way to make it to the finals.
Oh yeah, that's true.
He didn't do shit.
And T-Mac doesn't even talk about that either.
Yeah, exactly,
he barely talks. He's like, yeah, I wasn't a part of it.
Yeah, it's like whatever. But it's going to be very important what he does next year, and I think he's probably going to sign with the Lakers with his boy LeBron.
Which is interesting because coming into that 03 draft, he was the winner in that group, and especially at the time, those two were the most covered, LeBron versus Melo.
He was a champion at Syracuse.
As a true freshman. Crazy. And LeBron was like, he's coming out of high school, has no college experience, doesn't have a lot of things under his belt as Melo. Who's going to win a championship first? Which
a lot of people were thinking.
Who ended up winning the first one out of the draft class?
Dwayne Wade.
All right.
The real GOAT.
At least we're able to put Wade. We could always find a way to talk about Wade.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's funny, and then seeing how it played out, who ended up having that winner's mentality, that focus, that determination, that ambition? LeBron. And Carmelo, that's why I was never a big fan of him personally as an individual player. Just like up until recently, once he made those sacrifices, unlike your boy Allen Iverson, like I was just like, bro, he's not. If he made those sacrifices earlier on, I think that Denver Nuggets team could have made an actual push. And if he stayed on the Nuggets instead of going to New York, maybe he would have reached the finals by now.
Well, look, as the saying goes, better late than never. And last but certainly not least,
it's not going to happen with the Blazers, though.
We'll see. But last but certainly not least, certainly, but not, yeah, whatever. Okay, last person on this list, man. I'm just firing on all cylinders over here, man. Ben Simmons, Philadelphia 76ers.
Much like his Philly co-star Embiid, Simmons is starting to generate the traction needed to reach the finals. The odds of Simmons arriving at that doorstep will depend somewhat on Embiid's help. They are joined at the hip as long as the Sixers keep them together. Simmons can pull his weight by developing more confidence in his outside shot and maintaining his reputation as a versatile elite defender. Simmons is just 24 and timing is in his favor. It helps that Rivers is his coach, Daryl Morey the general manager. Unless the Sixers, Embiid, or Simmons are victims of misfortune, a finals trip is seemingly in the near future. But then again, Anthony and Paul had that same vision at 24 too, and that's what I was emphasizing with earlier with Giannis. Like, don't lie on that. There's still time narrative or belief and hope, because just like they brought up Carmelo and Chris Paul, like that time flies, and in the NBA especially.
In life in general.
But all right, actually, okay, what I mean by an NBA especially, it's not just that time flies, but your window to actually have a shot, if you're not in that dynasty or championship contender, it's sporadic, you know what I mean? Because sometimes, boom, out of nowhere, a dynasty happens. Like it happened, imagine being an NBA player and then boom, the Heat was formed. You're like, what the fuck? Yeah, and then you have another winner, you're like, what? Warriors dynasty forms. Yeah. You're like, what the fuck? When am I going to win a ring? When am I going to have a serious chance? So Simmons and Embiid have to watch out for that. And Simmons has to be more open to adapting. I hope he doesn't end up like Carmelo and sticks to his game. But seeing as how things play out and seeing how the mentality from an outsider's perspective, I don't know if he has that winner's mentality in terms of I'm going to do what needs to be done to improve or needs to be done for my team to win. Because in 3 to 4 years, he has not evolved as much as he could have.
What are you talking about, man? He became an elite defender. He's now a lockdown defender. One of the best floor generals in the NBA. He has improved.
That's true. No, he has improved. I'm saying he hasn't evolved to...
The media has been focusing on him about
the offense. Okay, no, that's true. But he was here. That defense, we saw shinings of that earlier on. All right? So, I agree. He did develop. You're right about that. But it's like he started... He started like here. Most people start here. He started here, and then he like improved like this much, as opposed to his level that he could have been at would have been outside the frame, guys. Like that's how And I'm just saying how much better he could have gotten compared to
Like,
how much he got over this time frame. We're talking about 3 to 4 years, bro.
That's
a long time.
He has time on his side, just like he improved his defense.
24.
There's the potential that, okay, he's not going to become, a Steph Curry from 3, but I think he'll be able to improve it to the point that they're not going to leave him as open, like shit.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to leave him wide open, like that.
If Simmons and Embiid both keep improving, and if they stay together, then
they might be the best duo ever.
And out of these 5, and maybe in the list in general, they have the highest chances of reaching the finals first before anyone else, because it reminds me of Westbrook and Durant. You have these 2 stars who could be superstars, and they both end up becoming superstars. And bro, they've been together their whole career. If they're able to make it work, maybe. But I don't know. I just don't. My gut feeling with Philadelphia is not very high. Daryl Morey, I don't know. Doc Rivers, his playoff series record is disgusting. And Murray,
still a champion.
While he takes risks as a GM, and I'm sure he'll do his best to build a good team around them. We saw he wasn't able to get over the hump with the Rockets. I don't know if he'll be able to do that. Although they are in the East, so I'll give them that. They're in the East. There's no Warriors dynasty
this is only year 1 of Daryl Morey. As he's proven, he's put some good things around him, man. He got Stephen Curry's brother.
Yes,
he's been able to help.
Saw the actual potential in that guy.
Danny Green was a good pickup as well.
Yeah.
Tyrese Maxey.
He ignored Danny Green's finals performance, and it worked out.
As you've seen as well, some adjustments as well. Tobias Harris. He's been playing a lot better.
Yeah,
now
that's true.
Daryl Morey.
Doc unlocked that in him.
Daryl Morey has been able to get rid of that albatross of a contract of Al Horford, to be able to make that work.
He pulled O'Reilly.
Exactly. And look, let's give it faith, man, and see what happens. They're in the East, and this year they have the easiest path to get to the conference finals.
So you agree with me that these 2 have the highest chance of reaching the finals out of the 5 we just mentioned?
Absolutely.
First.
Absolutely, I do. What I do want to know is in the comments, what do you guys think? Do you agree with me and Andrade? Do you think they're the ones that have the best, the brightest future?
Out of these 5. We'll get to the next 5 later, guys.
Out of these 5. If not, who do you guys think out of these 5 have the best?
And who would you most want? Not that you think's first, but who do you most want to see reach the finals and or win a championship?
Exactly. But either way, guys, appreciate all the love and the hate. You guys already know. Catch us on Twitter, TikTok, Spotify, Apple, and
all podcast platforms.
All that good stuff, man. He's good there. Finish it. Ball Talk Deep. We'll catch you guys soon. For now,
take care.